everybody, it's Wednesday and I have a story for you. So 5 years ago, I was working in Virginia and it was the worst time of my life. I was making like 20-something thousand a year, so poverty level, and no food in my refrigerator at times. And I think I was living off of like Wendy's and Cookout. So one day I get up and I'm like, God, I cannot stay here for forever. So I go to church on a Sunday, and that was rare. And the pastor was talking about faith. And he was talking about Mark 11:24 and how if you ask for something in prayer and you believe in your heart at that moment, you don't doubt, then it's yours. And it was so simple and it just made sense to me. Like, okay. So I went home and I prayed, which I hadn't done in a while. Can I have, I would really I wanted to work somewhere sunny where palm trees were. There were like red tile roofs on some of the houses. I asked for the salary that I wanted. And it wasn't deep, it wasn't long. I got up, but I really believed it. Like, this is what your word says, so this will work for me. I asked, I believed, I'm not doubting right now. Like, it's mine, okay? So there's some extra steps added in there that I didn't know about, but I was walking through them anyway. Confession is the next step. So I started telling people, I was like, girl, I'm not gonna be here by the end of the year. Nope, I'm gonna be gone by then. Nope, I'm gonna be gone. I started using my vacation time because I was like, I'm not gonna need them. I'm not gonna be here, right? And that's that step that you have to start saying what you wanna see. So people will ask me, like, I cut my hair a couple months ago and it's grown out, and they're like, how is it growing so fast? I'm like, cause I wake up every day and I'm like, my curly hair is down my back. My curly hair is down my back. You gotta start saying what you want to see, right? So the next step is demonstration. That was a hard one because God started telling me to do things that didn't make sense, like stop applying for jobs. You've already applied for your job. I heard that. I heard that very clearly one day as I was about to apply for a job, but I shut my computer down. I'm like, maybe if I do this, then my job will come like next week, like magic, but it didn't. Okay, so weeks pass and I finally get an interview in Winston-Salem. So I go to Winston-Salem, I'm like, of course they have palm trees there, right? Like, it's warm, whatever, bet I'm moving to North Carolina. And no, I walk in the door and immediately I knew like this wasn't it. Like, I could feel it, like, no, I'm not supposed to come here. And so go through the interview and I get home and I get the job like a week later, and I turned it down, even though I was like, God, it's a job, it's more money, I can move, but I knew, like, I could just feel it, like I'm not supposed to be there. And you gotta trust that voice, you gotta trust that gut, that instinct, whatever you wanna call it, that lets you know, like, no, don't go here or don't go past here, right? Like, you have to listen to that, and I'll tell you why in a second. So after that, my landlord starts contacting me. He's like, hey, I need you to sign a year lease or get out. I'm like, what? Not now, not now. I need you to do this month-to-month thing with me, not now. So I just kind of ignore him for a second. Miraculously, Orlando starts to work out. So I go to the interview and I'm thinking, okay, like, I'll get the job just like the other one in a week's time. Weeks, months actually passed. And I'm like, where is this job? So my landlord gets serious now. He's like, no, 30 days. And I was like, I gotta get out in 30 days or I gotta sign this lease. And I was like, I'm not signing a year lease. I literally am not staying here for a year. I know that, right? So I'm at work like sweating, like, oh Jesus, where am I gonna move? So I strike up this conversation with the new girl. I don't even know her. We work completely different shifts. Her name's Annalisa. And 5 minutes in, she's like, you could live with me. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I have a 3-bedroom. I have an extra bedroom. No one's living in it. I'll give you a key. What? So like, God had something planned the entire time. I had asked all of my other coworkers. They said no. I was wrecking my brain trying to figure out where to go, and there was already a place for me. So at that point, I was like, okay, God, I got a job. Like, Orlando or not, I got a job. But a couple weeks after I moved in with Annalisa, I got the call from Orlando. And it was like 4 months between the time I prayed and the time that I moved into my new position, which really isn't that bad. Like, that's not a lot of time when you think about it. You have to use your faith. It works every single time, no matter what it's for, it works. Ask, believe, confess, demonstrate. Those are not from me, that's from my pastor, but it works nonetheless. It works every time. So I wanted to share this because a couple weeks back, someone had asked to hear like my happily ever after story, and I wrote it in a Facebook post, and like people were like, oh my God, this is so good. And that's the part that feels amazing. Like, yeah, I felt amazing when I got that phone call, like, hey, we want you to join our team in Orlando, right? Amazing. But what's even better is knowing that, like, because I decided to use my faith and it worked out for me, now I can share that story with other people and they're inspired and they're encouraged because Jasmine was working the same type of job I was working. Jasmine was making the same amount of money I was making. Jasmine was living off of fast food, but she's not doing that anymore. And if God did that for her, he could do it for me too, right? Like he could do it for me too. And that's what's really exciting about this. So remember I said you got to really follow God's voice. Man. So a couple months after I get to Orlando, I'm in the job, I'm feeling good, everything's great. I get a phone call and it's somebody from that other station in North Carolina. And so they're like, hey, are you under contract right now? And they're trying to get me to come up there and like take some position they had. And I said, yeah, I'm under contract. Like I'm staying here. I was good. Like I'm like, I love it here. Like I'm so happy. And so at that point, the conversation should have ended, but this person took it upon themselves to just like verbally assault me. Like, not kidding. They were like, you know, oh yeah, well, that's just too bad because, you know, I read about, you know, you taking that traffic anchor position. Like, man, that's like career suicide. Like, you're never gonna come back from there. Like, oh my God, I feel so bad for you, you know? Like, do you wanna do news again? Like, that's never gonna happen, you know? And, gotta let you live long enough to realize like they were wrong the whole time. But what's amazing is that I never put myself in position. Like this person felt comfortable saying those things to me over the phone. Imagine if I like literally worked in a building with them, right? You have to listen to that voice. Like don't go past it just because you're like, you know what? I can see my way through this. Like it'll be fine. I'll just ignore that. Do not ignore what your gut, your instinct, with your voice, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, is telling you. Like, do not ignore. Oh my God, don't do it. So anyway, I hope this encourages you. I want you guys to share your stories of what God did for you. If this verse is amazing to you and you know it works for you, like tell me that too. Anything you want to share, comment. If this encouraged you, inspired you, motivated you, let me know below. Subscribe to the channel, give me a like, and I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon.